Hello everyone! No, we're not on a farm, but we are here with my new best friend and we are in the city of Brno in the Czech Republic, and I'm going to show you the best things to do here in the city. Located at the confluence of the Svitava and Svratka rivers, Brno has about 380,000 inhabitants, making it the second largest city in the Czech Republic, after the capital, Prague. We are spending the next week in Brno, giving us enough time to show you its villas, museums, old historic city centre and anything else that you could do in this beautiful city, including the first stop, a visit to Špilberk Castle. My buddy can also be found on the most iconic building of Brno. You can walk up and have a free 360 view around the city centre at the castle. It houses exhibitions and museums that you could visit as well. But once you have explored the castle, have a good layout of the city, it's time to dive into the city of Brno itself. Okay, before we head into the city, what I didn't realize is that these castle bells, and there are 15 in total, with a different weight between 16 kg and 220 kg, placed in 1990, play a different tune every hour between 9 AM and 6 PM, between one of the 35 music compositions that he put into the computer. But now we have explored the castle grounds, it is really time to explore the old city centre itself. And where would be a good starting point? Maybe by starting at one of its more famous meeting points. The Old Town Hall is a famous meeting point in Brno. In the middle you find one of the legends in Brno, the Dragon of Brno, which is basically just a crocodile. But the other legend related is to the portal here, designed by Anton Pilgrim in the early 16th century. As you can see, the middle bit is not completely straight, and that's because in the end the councillors who gave him the task to build this portal didn't pay his final amount, and as a revenge they made that middle bit not straight. But enough about this old town, however. You can even get to the top, so let's do that. I must say, for 90 krona you get a pretty nice view from up here. You can see the castle over there, the church, the other cathedral, the Cabbage Market. It's a great, lovely view. You won't visit the clock tower for long. In 30 minutes you have climbed to the top, enjoyed the view and be back down again. But it gives you a good idea of how the city looks like, and we already saw it from the top. But now let's head down to the market that is located just next to the clock tower and the old town hall, the Cabbage Market. I just really love when you walk around a new place, it's just to visit the local markets, and the Cabbage Market is the market in Brno. It started in the 13th century when the city started as well, and they still hold true to color code. So we'll see here kind of yellowish umbrella and here a red one, and that means like the red one has a mixture of imported goods and local produce. The yellow one is as a translated sales refreshment, and there are green umbrellas as well, and that's purely local from the farmers. And it's just a really good way to get to know the locals here as well, and they really sell nice stuff. Apparently if you want to make a deal, at 4 o'clock is when the market ends, so if you want to do a bit of haggling, try 4 o'clock and you might get a better deal as well. From the Cabbage Market we walk to a nearby square that contains something that of course Brno needs to have, because Prague has it as well. Let's go to Liberty Square. Of course Prague has an astronomical clock tower, so Brno needs to have one as well. That's the one over there. The top bit are the seconds counting down, but in reality it's way easier to look at the clock over there to know what time it is. But another funny thing is that 11 o'clock in the morning there's a marble glass ball coming out of one of the 4 slots. And you don't know which one it is. If you capture that one, then it is supposed to give you luck. This happens every day at 11 because a long time ago the Swedish army was putting siege around the town. It was a tough fight for both of the parties, and the Swedish commander said, we're making one last push against the town. But they would only do this till 12 o'clock. And the people in Brno, they caught this. So what they did was put the clock 1 hour forward. So at 11 they ring the bells 12 times to stop the fight and win this fight against the Swedish invasion.
So how easy is it to get around Brno?
Getting around Brno is just very convenient. The city centre is very, very compact. Everything is like a 10 minutes walk away. And the trams and buses, they go very regular as well. So if you stay a little bit outside or you want to visit something that's a little bit further away, you can use those. You can just use your contactless card. You tap in, and if your journey is less than 15 minutes, you tap out again and you pay 20 krona for your journey. And if it's longer than that, everything below an hour, you just go out and you can switch to another mode as well. So as long as it's within an hour, you pay 25 krona and the maximum is kept on 90 krona.
Now we know how public transport works, it is time to leave the old city centre behind us for a bit and go by tram to its science museum.
If it's raining when you're in Brno, maybe you want to visit the Vida Science Museum. It's 230 Czech krona for an adult to visit this place, and there are loads of experiments you can do here. Especially nice probably when you're with a group of people or with your kids. But be aware that most of the descriptions here are all in Czech, so it might be a bit hard to understand what exactly you need to do.
If history is more your thing rather than science, just on the edge of the old city centre you will find an important place for the city that you can visit.
If you're more into war or military history, visit Bunker 10Z. It's 180 krona to visit. It takes around 30 minutes till an hour. They have small TV screens explaining about the history, and you see how this bunker looked like in the past. It started as a fallout shelter during the Nazi period for residents to hide for when the airdrops would land here, like the bombing would happen from the Americans or the Soviets during that time. It could hide 600 civilians inside the bunker for like 3 to 4 hours. And in 1959, when the communists came in, they converted this into a nuclear shelter. The most confidential shelter in Brno to hide the most important and political figures at that time. It's kind of funny when you visit more bunkers, like in Albania and Tirana, bunkers were really good to visit. And in this bunker as well, you start to recognize this is in the decontamination room. You see the shower heads here above me. So you would enter the bunker from here, and in case of nuclear war or something, if there's a bomb that fell, you take a shower here before you get into the bunker, just to make sure you don't take the nuclear stuff inside the bunker, of course.
If you thought churches are peaceful religious places you can visit, you might have never visited an ossuary. Because visiting an ossuary is a completely different experience.
This is kind of an eerie place to visit in Brno. It's the ossuary right underneath the church, and this. It's not some weird decoration that you see there, human bones and skulls. It's a bit strange to say it's kind of amazing, but to be here by yourself in candlelight, it's kind of a great experience in a way. How creepy it sounds like.
If you have some more time left in Brno, it would be good to visit the Lake of Brno. You can reach this by tram, and from here there are different boats that you can take around to the different docks and maybe start doing a hike from there. Or even visit Ossuary Castle, a 13th century castle that was occupied by the Germans in the Second World War and was also a place regularly visited by Winston Churchill. It gives you some vantage points around the area. If you rather stay in the city and do something different, you might consider to visit one of its villas.
We were really trying to find or support the heritage of our nations and realize it through art.
But be aware of the following when you visit the villas.
We need to talk about the villas in Brno, and I can't pronounce them. I visited 2 of them, so I'll put the names down below on the B-roll, plus the price, what it costs to visit them. But I wouldn't really put them high on my list. And the reason for that is they're a little bit outside. They are not really expensive to visit, but if you're not really into architecture, then you might not want to visit them. The first villa, built in the 1920s from a famous Jewish textile owner. He used two architects, one for the inside, one for the outside, minimalist design on the outside and then more Baroque style inside. But because they left during the war, the Nazis built a casino inside and then the Red Army took all the decoration out from the inside except the big heavy furniture. There's not much left inside to see. And the other one is from a famous architect who used folklore in their designs. And the main entrance hall, beautiful, and around it, it also looks lovely with the garden. But we only spent like 10 minutes inside, and unless you are into modern art that uses the same kind of vision, you won't spend a long time in there. So there are better things to do in Brno.
And with that, the only thing that left to say is that Brno offers some amazing nightlife as well. Small little bars and clubs that keeps you going for the night. So with that, I hope you enjoy your visit to Brno.